Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my team analysis for Week 8 of the Pokemon Premier League. This week we're taking on Ethan, otherwise known as Erasmus, and the Miami Rotom-Heat. And of course, like every week, before we get into the team that I'm bringing, I'm just going to catch you up to speed on where we're at in the league table and everything like that. So, right now, as you can see, last week we did beat Shoddy. We beat the Bayern Munich. It was a 3-0 victory, which was really good. We are still behind him in the standings, however, we're really close. We have the same record. We have a winning record again, 4 wins, 3 losses, which is pretty awesome. If I get one more win at all the entire rest of the season, then I have done better than last season. So because we finished at 4-7, so as long as I don't lose the remaining 4 games, then we've already made an improvement, which is pretty good because I think my team this season is actually slightly worse than the one last season, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. But yeah, so we are right there. So if we win, and actually we're facing Ethan, the Miami Rotom-Heat, we have the same amount of points, we have the same differential, we have the same record. You know, I have one more kill. That's it. So we are like right there. So basically, if we win, we're at least staying in 5th. Could potentially go to 4th. Depends on how Shoddy's game goes. If we lose, then we're definitely moving down to at least 6th. Possibly further, because if people like Jack wins, again, then he would go back up above us. He's kind of right in that middle. The Norwich Skitty here that can kind of go above us. We're kind of just chilling in this like top middle part of the table. I think that's probably where we're going to end the season as well. There's like no shot for us to win the title. The highest I think we could hope for is probably 3rd. 2nd would be a stretch, but 3rd is still realistic. So, we'll work on it. We're just gonna do our best week to week. I'm not really that concerned anymore since we're not gonna get the championship most likely. So it is what it is. And if you look down at the MVP race, this is the MVP race so far. So Mega Blastoise is still our highest with 11th place, even though that was all in 2 weeks. And then Scizor and Conkeldurr are like right next to each other. So that is that. So I'm going to go ahead and let's move over to the team that I'm bringing this week against Ethan. And let's talk about his team, because I absolutely hate it. His team is stupid. And of course I'm saying that because I don't really have a great matchup this week. So his team consists of Clefable, Starmie, Tornadus T, Electros, Zygarde, Tauros, Mega Aggron, and Zoroark. So he has the least amount of mons that you can have on a team. You have to have 8 to 11 mons. He has 8. And he has 8 really, really good mons. In the most recent transfer window, he did have 9. He actually dropped Mienshao and Gastrodon to pick up Zygarde, which is honestly music to my ears because I can deal with Zygarde so much easier than I can deal with something like Mienshao. And also, Zygarde is just easier to take out than something like Gastrodon. So, that was actually, when I saw that transfer, I was pretty happy about that. But that doesn't really, it really doesn't help me take on the rest of his team. He has some really big threats. Tornadus T is a ridiculously big issue. It's really fast. It hits really hard. It's got the regenerator. Electros is an issue. Clefable is going to be difficult to take out. Mega Aggron I'm going to have to wear down. Tauros can hit really hard. And Zoroark can be a decent issue. It can definitely be a decent issue against the team that I actually ended up bringing. Whether he actually brings it or not, I'm not sure, just because of some of the other mons that I have on my team that could take it on, such as like Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr could take it on very well. So we'll have to see. I think my gut is telling me that he's probably going to leave behind Zygarde and Zoroark and bring the other 6. However, I'm not entirely sure. So we'll have to see. So, a couple notes about Ethan's team is that it's very fast. Like, he doesn't have any middle speed. He's got really, really fast mons and really, really slow mons. Like Tornadus T is base 121, Starmie is base 115 I think, and Tauros is 110 or 100. I don't know. It's just really fast. I guess Zygarde is kind of that high middle speed with 95. And Zoroark is pretty fast. I don't remember the exact base speed. And then everything else is slow. Clefable is 60, Mega Aggron's 50, Electros is 50. So we have that kind of middle speed thing to work with. So basically the plan for this match is I just need to try and take hits the best I can and put a lot of offensive pressure on him as well. So this is the way that I think we're going to do that. So we're going to start, the first mon that we're going to go over is probably what's going to be my lead. I don't really see a situation in which Lantern is not my lead, because his only Voltrum stop is Zygarde, and Zygarde doesn't really want to switch into Lantern in case I go for Scald, in case I go for Ice Beam, things like that. Not necessarily the best switch, especially on turn 1. So this is my especially defensive Lantern. Yes, believe it or not, Lantern can actually be used defensively, which, you know, most people do, but I've been using it offensively. But this week is different. So I'm bringing it with max HP, max special defense, the remaining in special attack. Basically, that's basically the set you're looking at. Leftovers, Volt Absorb, with Volt Switch, Ice Beam, Scald, and Heal Bell. Pretty standard. The only water moves that he's going to have on his team is going to be Starmie, and Starmie gets Energy Ball. Like, this is not a switch into Starmie at all. However, this is going to switch a little bit better into Electros. This set, you know, if it's like a max special attack, modest, Assault Vest, Electros, or something like that, Giga Drain does like 30%, I think it's like 33, so it's not like a consistent, reliable switch in. However, it could, you know, if I really think he's going to go for a Volt Switch, and I switch into Lantern, and I guess wrong, it's not the end of the world. It's all going to be about, it's going to be a lot about predictions, honestly. There's going to be a lot of 50-50s in this match. It's going to be, interesting. He has, you know, really good ways to keep initiative on his side. U-turn, Tornadus T, Volt Switch, Electros. That Volt Turn core right there is going to be really, really hard to stop. So, yes, there's that. Yeah, special defensive Lantern. This, basically, I can take hits from everything else, though. This eats up hits from Tornadus T, really, really easily. This can deal with Zoroark as well, and could take hits from Clefable, but can't really do much back, so this isn't really like a switch in for that by any means. But yeah, so that's Lantern. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty standard. The next mon is Ice the Kyurem. This is also being brought specially defensive. As you can tell, I'm very scared of his specially attacking mons, because he's got a lot of really good special offense. Lots of really good special offense. And I'm bringing Kyurem with the leftovers, max HP, max special defense, calm nature, you know, all same old song and dance with Ice Beam, Roost, Reflect, and Toxic. So Ice Beam is just kind of a good move. It hits a lot of his team, at least neutrally, as well as hitting Tornadus T and Zygarde super effectively. This isn't really going to be used more of an attacker as it is. There's other coverage moves that I could put on, but as especially defensive mod, it just doesn't do enough. Especially defensive variant, Flash Cannon doesn't do enough to Clefable. Draco Meteor just didn't really fit in this set. I needed Roost. The thing with this match is I have decent, especially defensive mons that can take on his team, but I don't really have a lot that get good recovery. Like, I wanted to bring Meloetta, but Meloetta doesn't really get the best recovery. Okay, well, I don't need to be connected to the server. But yeah, Meloetta doesn't really get recovery. You know, the things that I need to take on, like Kyurem is basically a switch into like Starmie. It can deal pretty well with the special Electros, and things like that. So, you know, just because things like Tornadus T, I think this can still take a hit or two from it. I couldn't really bring other mons, such as, like, you know, Conkeldurr or anything like that, in any sort of defensive role. So, Kyurem is basically being relegated to this weird defensive role. Reflect, because, I don't know if you can see my team, but because I've planned so much for his special attackers, he could definitely catch me off guard, and he could definitely run through me with some physical attackers, namely Tauros. And if my main physical attack switching goes down, I could be in a lot of trouble. So Reflect is kind of just a way for me to not get destroyed right off the bat by anything. And there's also things he could bring, like a physical Zoroark or a physical Electros, and he could bring more physical attackers than special attackers, which is not what I'm expecting, but it could happen. And if that happens, then, you know, we're really going to have to work around that. So yeah, I think Reflect is good. Toxic is also good. I'd like to Toxic things like the Electros, and anything else I can. I think he's going to bring Magikarp, Clefable. I don't think he's going to bring Unaware. If he does bring Unaware, then I can Toxic that as well, and that would be great, but I don't really expect that. And speaking of Clefable, we have my main answer to Clefable, which is going to be Invisible the Kecleon here. Kecleon, dude, I love coming up with like Kecleon sets. Kecleon, I'm getting so much more comfortable with using, and like, I don't know, I love this thing, dude. So, Choice Banded Kecleon, yeah, you know it. With Max Attack Adamant, 164 in speed, and the remaining 92 in HP. With Iron Tail, Drain Punch, Stealth Rock, Knockoff. I brought Iron Tail Kecleon against Necro Stevo for Florges. Didn't work out super well. But I think Kecleon does have the potential to work out. I have rocks on this thing because at this point, if I want rocks, it has to be either Kecleon or Crustle. Crustle would get completely destroyed this match by everything. So there's basically no point. And if I go for Stealth Rocks, I don't think he'll suspect me to be, like Choice Banded or anything. But a Choice Band Max Attack Adamant Iron Tail is, I want to say it does 97% minimum to a physically defensive Clefable. So, if he, I don't know, if he's not expecting the Iron Tail or, I don't know, anything like that. Oh, and the speed is to outspeed a Clefable, a defensive Clefable. So if he doesn't have any speed EVs on his Clefable, I will outspeed. And seeing as I have a Scizor, so he might bring physically defensive, as well as it could deal with like Conkeldurr. Like, I think some of the scariest attackers on my team are the physical ones. So I think he might bring physically defensive Clefable. I mean, a lot of other people have been bringing like physically defensive fairy types. So, could happen. I don't know if he's going to bring something like a Babiri Berry on his Clefable, but which would ruin a little bit of the surprise of Iron Tail. But if I can get off an Iron Tail, and he's having something like Leftovers, and we just take it out one shot, that would be so good. Drain Punch because I need recovery. Drain Punch also hits a lot of things really like pretty hard. Like I can reliably get health back on a semi-consistent basis. Kecleon also has pretty good natural bulk on the special side to work as a switch-in depending on the move. And I think we'll be able to use that to our advantage. Knockoff is good, and it just depends on the situation when I'm going to be able to go for each move. But I'm really hoping that Kecleon can put in the work because, this is like my main answer to Clefable. If anything happens to this thing before Clefable goes down, there's going to be a lot of issues. But this is like the main big attacker. The next big attacker is going to be Gardevoir. Hallelujah. I'm not bringing it especially defensive. I'm bringing Scarf Gardevoir with Trace, with Moonblast, Focus Blast, Healing Wish, and Destiny Bond, with max special attack modus, 220 in the speed, and then the rest is divvied out to get the optimum amount of stat boost, so the 28 in HP, 4 defense, 4 special defense. That just gives it like a stat point boost, that I think is necessary for each thing. Scarf Moonblast does a lot to his team. Again, if he brings physically defensive Clefable, this does about 50% to the Clefable. It does a lot to Starmie. It does, I want to say, like 80% to like Tornadus, like if it's offensive. It's going to hit Electros decently, unless it's Assault Vest, then it can eat one up, but, it is what it is. Moonblast obviously hits Zygarde hard, it's going to hit Tauros hard, it's going to hit Zoroark hard. The only thing it doesn't really hit hard is Mega Aggron, and that's why I Focus Blast. It does, I want to say, somewhere from 30 to 40% to Mega Aggron, which honestly is really good. Any damage on a Mega Aggron is good. So, and Mega Aggron doesn't really get reliable recovery, so, we should be able to wear that thing down eventually. So, just anytime Gardevoir comes in, it's going to be a threat. Especially if I already have gotten chip damage on a lot of his stuff. This would have the potential to sweep. I think once Mega Aggron goes down, he's going to have a really hard time stopping this thing. Destiny Bond is kind of like my, last resort for if Clefable, I don't know, sets up like 6 Cosmic Powers, like I just have no way to stop that. I just lose to Cosmic Power Clefable, honestly. I don't have a reliable way to take it out. Or if he just, sets up, to some ridiculous amount, Destiny Bond is just my way to hopefully catch him as he, takes me out. That way I can take him down and then have a way to still win the match. So, That's what Destiny Bond is there for, and Healing Wish, you know, if I feel like something else can do the job of sweeping up better, or I need something else at Health and Gardevoir, you know, I don't think that it's going to do much for me anymore, or maybe he has rocks up and I won't be able to live another rock switch in, and, you know, I think he's going to make a good switch. Maybe I can just Healing Wish into something. So there's situations where I think both of those could work. I didn't need any coverage moves, because Moonblast does enough to his team that I don't need any other super effective moves to hit any of his stuff. Like, I didn't need Thunderbolt for Tornadus T, I didn't need Shadow Ball for Starmie. Those were things that I looked into, but Moonblast does enough that it's really not worth running those things. So, that's Akbar the Gardevoir. I think it could put in a lot of work. We will just have to see. And then we have Scizor, which is an interesting bring this week. Don't run with me with Scizor, because Ethan has a lot of fire coverage on his team, like good fire coverage. You know, he's got like Flamethrower on Clefable, Heat Wave Tornadus, Flamethrower, or Fire Punch Electros. I think it gets Fire Punch. Tauros, I'm pretty sure Tauros gets some sort of fire move, and I forget what it is. I'm gonna feel really stupid. Mega Aggron gets Fire Punch, and Zoroark gets Flamethrower, and a lot of them outspeed. So, you know, that's an issue. It starts to become, okay, well, when do I get to switch in Scizor? And the thing is, I don't necessarily get to switch in Scizor. Scizor basically has to be brought in, like, Scizor's going to get, I think, one chance to pull this off. I'm bringing Swords Dance Scizor, with Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, Defog, and Superpower Technician, Akaberry, Max Attack Adamant, 220 HP, and 36 Speed. The 36 Speed is just, giving it, a few points extra in speed, so that way anything trying to speed creep it, maybe an Electros, maybe a Clefable, will not outspeed it, which that way I can just get a Sword Stance off mostly before, you know, they would you know, attack me or whatever, or, you know, if they overpredict and do something, maybe I can get off a second Sword Stance. If I get off 2 Sword Stances, I'm pretty sure I just win. I'm pretty sure I just win if I get off 2 Sword Stances. And yeah, because Mega Aggron actually takes a lot from Superpower, especially after Sword Dance. And if I would get up 2 Sword Stances, game's over. But yeah, so because of all the fire coverage, I want to bring an Akaberry. That way, like, the idea for this is just to get a lot of chip damage on his team, maybe take out some of his bigger threats. And then, you know, if he has like 4 Mons left and they're all like below 50%, you know, Scizor hasn't hit the field yet, I can bring Scizor in. I get a free Sword Stance off because regardless of any fire coverage move, I'll be able to live it. I'll get up a Sword Stance and then I Bullet Punch. Which, you know, he, you know, I mean, there's ways that he can work around it. I have good natural defense. But, like, you know, Zoroark gets Sucker Punch, Zygarde gets Extreme Speed. Like, there is priority that he has that will be faster than mine. However, I think that will still be okay if we keep Scizor at a decent amount of health. It also just depends. We just have to be really smart as to when we try and pull this off. I kind of threw Defog on there because you know, Kyurem is kind of like my main switch in for a lot of special hits, and Lantern switches in as well, and just them taking rocks damage is like he'll be able to wear me down before I get to wear him down, which is an issue. So if there's a chance that I see that I can get off a Defog without risking Scizor's life too much, then I'll go for it. Not entirely sure when that situation might actually arise, but you know, it's I think it's good to have, especially since I'm not bringing Mega Blastoise again. I feel bad for not bringing Mega Blastoise, but I wanted to bring it kind of defensively, but again, it doesn't have recovery, so it became a little bit of an issue. I want recovery this match because I think he will be able to wear me down with rocks. He has Mega Aggron. Mega Aggron does not die in one hit to, like, anything, so I need to wear it down. But, you know, it's guaranteed rocks on my side. Like, if he brings Aggron, that's guaranteed rocks on my side. So, yeah, so Defog could be good. Or I can just try and get a lot of chip damage, and I can try to late game sweep with Scizor. This is the first time that I brought Sword Stance Scizor, so we'll see if it works out. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Gotta hope for the best. And then the final Mon is going to be Robin the Tangela. Okay. Max HP, max special attack with the remaining in speed, Leech Seed, Sleep Powder, Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power Ice. This is a modest nature with the Eviolite. So, Tangela, despite the EV spread, is actually my physical hit switch in. This switches into Mega Aggron, this switches in to Zygarde, and I'm going to have to double check how well, but I'm pretty sure it also switches into Tauros as well. With Eviolite, max HP, and just that good natural defense stat, Tangela doesn't really need physical investment to live hits, and then of course with Regenerator it just automatically gets its own like health back, plus I have Leech Seed, which is going to be able to catch things on the switch. You know, if I switch in or like a Mega Aggron, you know, he's going to have to switch out because he's not going to be able to wear me down. I can Leech Seed him, I can put him to sleep, like I win the 1v1 matchup. So there's things like that. Something that I think he might switch into might be Clefable, because Clefable, if it is Magic Guard, he's not going to care about a Leech Seed. You know, I probably won't reveal Sleep Powder initially. That way he feels safer to switch it in. If I can put the Clefable to sleep, then that's perfect. Again, if he brings physically defensive Clefable, Sludge Bomb is a 2-hit KO, and Hidden Power Ice is a 2-hit KO on the Zygarde, as well as can hit Tornadus T on the switch in. Tornadus T is also could be a switch in to Tangela. So Hidden Power Ice will do a decent chunk of damage, which is always good to have. So yeah, I think I just wanted a little bit more damage output. I think it's a little bit overlooked that Tangela has a special attack stat of 100, so max special attack modest on top of that base 100 special attack. That can do damage. So, and that's another reason that I want Reflect, is just to be able to live stuff better, because, I mean, my physical hit switch-in doesn't even have any physical defense investment, so we'll have to see exactly how this match turns out. I'm not super confident in a win. However, if we get one, that's going to put us in a fantastic position, just to end the season off really, really well. But I think, off the top of my head, I think this is going to be the most difficult match that we have for the rest of the season. I think we have a better shot to win the remaining 3 games after this one. But a win here would still be nice, so we'll have to see. Pokemon is unpredictable, so, you know, you never know whether you're going to win or lose. I think this is probably the best 6 I can bring against Ethan. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to see. So yeah, let me know what you think about the team. Let me know, you know, whether you think we'll do well or not, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the battle. And yeah, so I will see you guys then tomorrow. So thanks for watching this video. Until the next time, guys, stay sly.